Hey guys, Darkson12 once again on the next episode of Dueling Like a General. Today we're going to be covering some advanced tips you can do with Dark World, some really nice plays you can do. I'm going to first start with a brief overview of how this Dark World works. Very short, very simple, just like in the Pojo guide it's stipulated. It's 5 steps to Dark World: draw, discard, attack, win. I think I forgot one in there. Draw, discard, summon, attack, win. Yeah. Draw, discard, summon, attack, win. Basically, draw cards, discard them, summon your monsters, attack, and win. But that's a brief overview of how Dark World works. Honestly, let's talk about some advanced things that you may or you may not know about Dark World. So first, we're going to start with Monster Reborn. All right, what's the deal with Monster Reborn in Dark World? Well, Monster Reborn in Dark World is actually a really nice play. In fact, Monster Reborn in Dark World, it's arguably its best use, because Monster Reborn in Dark World, instead of a +0, it's a +1, and I'm gonna say why. You Monster Reborn Snow in your graveyard. That's +0. But then you send it back to your hand and you summon Ch.5, and that's a +1. So you have one more card in your hand, a very important card in your hand, and a 2,700 beater, 3,000 if it's under Gates of Dark World. And also you can even get the chain going. You can discard Snow again and draw a card, search for another Dark World monster. Really cool. Like Monster Reborn, and a lot of people actually, a really pro play in Dark World is using Monster Reborn to revive your Dark World monsters like Snow or Beige or Brow. Special summoning Ch.5 with Monster Reborn, I honestly don't recommend it. If it's the only thing you can do, then by all means, okay. But try to always special summon a normal Dark World monster instead, and then go for Ch.5, because then it will be a +1, not a +0. Also, the key thing with Monster Reborn also is that you also have to watch out for your opponent. Ch.5 in the graveyard means they can Monster Reborn it, and it's really not nice when you're setting up your plays and they've used your own Ch.5 against you. So you really gotta be careful with this card. Always be cautious. Always play defensively when you know that your opponent might have Monster Reborn. Try to always keep Ch.5 on the field. Don't leave him in the graveyard too much, and don't leave yourself in a position where they can use your Ch.5 against you. It's really important. All right. Now we're gonna be talking about Dark World Dealings versus Drag Down to the Grave. All right. Out of these two, almost every Dark World player will agree that Drag Down is much better. And the thing is, it is. Drag Down, you get to discard whatever card you want from his hand, and he has to discard a Dark World monster if you're playing Drag Down correctly. Dark World Dealings allows your opponent to discard whatever he wants, which means that if he's playing something like Insectors, he can put his Hornet in the graveyard, and he already has his graveyard set up. Or if he's playing Dark World in a mirror match, then he can discard whatever Dark World he wants and activate both effects of the Dark World monster. So you have to really be, you have to know how to play Dark World Dealings. In the Pojo guide, there's a small section where it talks about when to play Dark World Dealings, when to not play Dark World Dealings, and when to play Drag Down to the Grave and when not play Drag Down to the Grave. Well, basically it's very simple. It comes down to Drag Down to the Grave. You play it when your opponent has a big hand, so you can have a lot of options to discard. Dark World Dealings, you play when your opponent has a very small hand, like 2 cards or less. So that way he's forced to choose between 3 or 2 cards only. Or even when your opponent has no cards in his hand, like Dark World Dealings, just go Dark World Dealings, and he's gonna have to draw that card and discard it right after. So he won't be able to use that card. Basically like milling him a little bit. But yeah, that's basically the deal with Dark World Dealings and Drag Down to the Grave. I personally I always choose Drag Down to the Grave first, and if I need some space in my deck for Dark World Dealings, then I put Dark World Dealings. But I'm currently not using Dark World Dealings in my Doom Color rebuild because I really don't I don't need it. I don't need the speed of Dark World Dealings. But the good thing about Dark World Dealings and Drag Down to the Grave together is that they provide a lot of draw power and a lot of discard outlets and a lot of speed. So if you're running a turbo build, then honestly I recommend you running 3 of these, and 3 of Gates of Dark World, aside from Reckless Greed, Dark Smog, and Mind Crush. These are also discard outlets. And even Morphing Jar. Now I'm going to be talking about what to search with Snow. Now, a lot of people forget that Snow can search any Dark World card, including Dark World Dealings and Gates of Dark World. What you should be searching with Snow? Alright, well, first thing first, if you don't have the Gates, search the Gates. That's the very first target you should be searching with Snow, the Gates of Dark World. Then, after the Snake Gates of Dark World, you want to search for your Grapha, because you want Grapha in the graveyard as soon as possible. And if you already have a Grapha in hand, then you can go for a Brow, or you could even go for a Beige. So you can start summoning Grapha, or in the case that you're running the Metallic Lords, then you can search for a Gold or a Silver. So I had him over here. I don't know where I put him. Yeah. You can search for a Gold and Silver. But basically, I would say the order of priority with Snow is this. First card first. If you don't have Gates, Gates. If you don't have Grapha, Grapha. And then from then on, if you don't have a Brow, Brow. Or if you want to search another Snow, Snow. After that, it's whatever you want. It could be Gold, it could be Beige, it could be Dark World Dealings. I sometimes search for Gateway of Dark World to get an extra discard outlet going with Grapha. It's really cool. But yeah, this is your priority order. These two are actually almost together. Sometimes more than this, because you want to like get another. You don't want to like spend your snows on other snows. But Michael Balan on YCS actually used Snow to search for another Snow, so that he always had the discard outlet going, and that's actually very smart. That's actually a really smart move, and something I recommend if you want to try it out. But in the case of, I consider Brow and Snow on the same stage, because Brow also gives you some very neat draw power. It gives you draw 2 cards, and basically, yeah, that's the turn priority for searching with Snow. First this, then any of these 2, and then whatever you want. Alright, now, Mind Crush. Okay. Mind Crush, when to use Mind Crush? Well, honestly, don't use it recklessly, even if it helps you. Because, chances are that maybe he's not going to discard whatever you want. Also, Mind Crush is really good against hero decks that search a lot. They're also really good against like Sabers that really depend on having cards in the hand. They're really good against decks that use Sangan, so you can then discard the Maxi, or you can discard the Effect Veiler or anything. Honestly, it's the way you use Mind Crush is honestly the most powerful play I would recommend would be after a Drag Down. Where did I place Drag Down? Use it after a Drag Down, or use it after a Virus play. When you use Deck Devastation Virus, after you already got rid of the 15 or 100 or less monsters, then whatever he's left in the hands, maybe it's most probably going to be spells or traps. So if he has a spell or trap that is key, you can go ahead and just Mind Crush after the Deck Devastation. You can also Mind Crush after a Drag Down. Honestly, one of the most powerful plays, the Drag Down. That's why they have so much great synergy together. If not, then just wait for. If you don't have any of these, just keep it there. I would keep it in my hand until I had any of these. But if you want to set it, because just keep it there and always be on point with like stuff like Pot of Duality or search cards like Reinforcement of the Army. They do Reinforcement of the Army. Once they have the card in the hand, just chain this and call it out. If they do Chi and Smoke Signal, the same thing. Gateway of the Six, the same thing. If they do Stratos, when you do Stratos, once he puts it in the hand, do this. So yeah, keep that in mind. And then what's some advanced tips on Trance Archfiend? Alright, this is actually the last one. Trance Archfiend is a really great card, but you need to know how to use it. You cannot use them just because. When do we use Trance Archfiend? Trance Archfiend, I always use it when I know I have this. Why? Because these two go together. You're always gonna start first with Trance Archfiend. Discard a Fiend, have a Fiend monster in the graveyard, then follow up with Gates, and discard another Fiend. So then you're gonna end up with a target for Gates. A target for Trance Archfiend, so that when Trance Archfiend is destroyed, you can get the monster back to the hand. Another play I use with Trance Archfiend is I sometimes even Dark Hole it so I can +1 or +2. Especially if I have multiple Trance Archfiends in my field, and they each have a target to search in the banish zone. I'm not afraid to use Dark Hole on them to get those cards to my hand and get the engine going with Gates again. It's really good. I honestly suggest you try it. But yeah, Trance Archfiend, you really need to be very, very careful. Don't play him if you don't have this, or don't play him if you don't have banished monsters. It's very important that you capitalize on both effects, because they're both good, but they're both good when they're used together. If you use only one of the two, you're really not capitalizing on this card. So always make sure you're using both effects, or you're in the situation that you can use both effects. Because otherwise, then just keep it in your hand and play it when you really need it. I think that for now, that covers like basic some advanced tips with Dark Worlds. I'm going to leave it up there for this video. Next video, I'm going to be covering, hopefully, some matchups. I want to cover the mirror match, because it's actually the most difficult matchup there is for Dark World. It's the most annoying one as well. And it's actually the very true test of skill. So, with YCS, the winner being Dark World, there's no surprise a lot of people are going to be playing Dark World now. So you got to be ready to play the mirror match, and you really know how to, you have to know what to do in that situation. So next video we're going to be covering that. That's it for now on advanced tips with Dark World, and see you guys in the next video of Dueling Like a General.